The Beatles weren't just a band, they were a revolution. From their early days in Liverpool to their final studio recordings, they continually pushed the boundaries of pop music, redefining what was possible in songwriting, production, and live performance. Their influence spans generations, and their impact on the industry remains unmatched. As pioneers of pop music innovation, the Beatles changed the way music was written, recorded, and experienced, leaving behind a legacy that still inspires musicians today. When the Beatles first emerged in the early 1960s, rock and roll was still in its infancy. While bands and artists before them had experimented with sound, the Beatles took innovation to a whole new level. Their early hits like Love Me Do and Please Please Me introduced their signature harmonies and infectious melodies, but it was just the beginning of their creative evolution. As their confidence grew, so did their willingness to experiment with new sounds, lyrics, and production techniques. One of the Beatles' most groundbreaking achievements was their approach to the studio. In the mid-1960s, they stopped touring and focused entirely on recording, using the studio as an instrument in itself. With producer George Martin, they pioneered techniques that would become standard in modern music. Songs like Tomorrow Never Knows from Revolver introduced backward tape loops, processed vocals, and experimental soundscapes, marking a turning point in how music could be produced. Then came Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, an album that shattered expectations and redefined what an album could be. Released in 1967, Sgt. Pepper was one of the first true concept albums featuring interconnected songs, elaborate arrangements, and groundbreaking studio wizardry. The use of multi-track recording, orchestral overdubs, and unconventional instruments like the sitar and mellotron expanded the sonic landscape of pop music. It wasn't just an album. It was an experience that took listeners on a journey, proving that music could be both artistic and commercially successful. The Beatles also revolutionized the way music was written. While early pop songs focused on simple love stories, the Beatles introduced deeper, more introspective themes. Songs like Eleanor Rigby explored loneliness and existentialism, while A Day in the Life blended surreal storytelling with orchestral crescendos, pushing the limits of what pop music could express. Their willingness to explore different emotions and themes made their music relatable across generations. Another major innovation was their influence on music videos. While promotional films existed before them, the Beatles popularized the idea of using visuals to enhance a song's impact. Their films for Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane introduced surreal imagery, quick cuts, and artistic cinematography, laying the groundwork for the modern music video industry. Decades later, MTV and YouTube would thrive on a format that the Beatles helped pioneer. The Beatles didn't just innovate in the studio, they changed the way albums were perceived. Before them, most albums were collections of singles, with filler tracks in between. The Beatles made albums a cohesive experience, ensuring that each track had a purpose. This shift in focus elevated the album format, inspiring generations of artists to treat albums as complete artistic statements, rather than just a collection of songs. Even after their breakup in 1970, their influence never faded. Each member went on to shape music in different ways, from John Lennon's raw, political songwriting to Paul McCartney's mastery of melody. George Harrison introduced Indian music to Western audiences, while Ringo Starr became a beloved figure in drumming and pop culture. Their individual contributions only added to their collective legacy. Decades later, the Beatles remain as relevant as ever. Their music is studied in universities, their studio techniques are emulated by producers, and their songs continue to chart with new audiences. No other band has had such a lasting impact on pop music innovation, and their influence will likely never be matched. The Beatles weren't just ahead of their time, they shaped the time we live in. From songwriting to production, from music videos to album concepts, they changed the industry forever. Their legacy isn't just about nostalgia, it's about innovation that continues to inspire artists today. Their music lives on, proving that true pioneers never fade away.